Oh God, it's time to talk about the Acolyte.
Is that how we're gonna start off?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Hey
goodness.
everybody, it's been a fun few weeks. We were granted the pleasure of seeing the first 4 episodes of the Acolyte. So we kinda know what's gonna happen. But right now we're gonna talk about the first two, because that's an adventure in and of itself.
Okay. All right. Well, I wasn't expecting to start off that way.
Alright.
Well, no.
Let's lay out the facts.
Well, okay. Can I say something? All right.
Sure.
I just want to say that it feels like we've been waiting for so long. We've been hearing about this Acolyte series for at least 2 years. It could be more than that.
So
And
fresh and
it
action
is
packed.
it is finally here. And I think I said it before that this is probably the most anticipated Star Wars series since The Mandalorian season 1. I mean, at the start of Disney Plus. I don't think
Mando
it's
season 3.
no.
Ahsoka.
No, I think this is bigger than Mando season 3. I think this is like people are anticipating this series. I mean, people have seen it. They got a lot to say, so we're going to chime in. We're going to chime in. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Father Son Galaxy, if you don't already know. I am Kerwin. This is Keith. Thank you. If you're brand new to the channel, thank you. We ask if you would subscribe to the channel, YouTube channel. Shout out to everyone who is watching us on Instagram and Facebook and X. All right. So let's start off by what you just said. By the way, this is a spoiler review, so I hope anyone who's watching or listening has seen the first 2 episodes. We're only going to talk about the first 2. All right. So let's start off by letting people know ahead of time, right from the start, that this show was not, well, I'm going to speak for me. I'm not going to speak for you because I'm sure you're going to speak for yourself. That this show was not what I was expecting. All right.
Yes.
And I think it was my interpretation of the trailer. I think the trailer might have threw me off a little bit. When I watched the trailer, you heard the voice of a Jedi. It's a new Jedi. We didn't know his name at the time, but it was Yord, who says that someone is killing Jedi. So I obviously.
What a joke.
Okay, let me get through this. So
I'm trying.
I obviously thought, well, this is a murder mystery. Well, it's not, because we know who the murderer is. All right, the killer. That's one thing. But then I thought maybe it's like a Columbo type episode where, okay, you can explain
I grew up on Columbo. So,
yeah.
That kind of murder mystery where we know who committed the crime and we know how they did it.
Right.
But the fun part is following the detective and how they figure out how the person committed the crime.
Right.
And then busting them at the end. And they're like, well, Mr. Columbo, you got me. Like,
exactly.
Remember that one dude who escorted himself into the police cruiser?
Okay, all right.
That one guy who was like, you're getting on my nerves, Mr. Columbo.
Yes.
Anyway, good show. That is not what the Acolyte is.
Well,
I feel like it was misbilled, like stopping a milk label on poison. So, speaking of poison, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to the poison. Okay.
We'll get to the poison.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So to me, it seemed like a misdirect, calling this a murder mystery. However, well, I interpret it as a murder mystery. It's not that, but it is. So the question that I've been asking when I saw these 2 episodes is, what exactly is the mystery?
Yeah.
All right.
What exactly is happening?
Well, okay. So from what I can understand by seeing the first 2 episodes, and of course, if you're on the chat, chime in. That
yes, please speak to us.
Right. That the mystery. Well, there's 2 things. One, we know that there is a crime being committed, but we don't know why. We don't know the reason behind it. So that's a mystery.
Even though usually in like most detective shows, they lay out the motives of each suspect before they start showing who did it, or
yeah. Well,
leave it to the Acolyte to break barriers in more ways than one in places where they probably shouldn't have.
Okay. And then 2, we don't know the identity of this mysterious Sith. Now, we don't know.
Dollar Store Kylo Ren.
Yes, you call him the
He looks like he has anger issues.
Well, don't they all? Okay. So we're gonna talk about this figure that, this person in a mask looks very similar to Kylo Ren. Like every time I see it, I think of Ben Solo, dressed as Kylo. But we don't know who's under the mask. We don't know the person behind the mask. Okay, so as far as I know, that's so far those are the two mysteries that need to be solved.
Yeah,
one would hope. All right. So
Oh.
let's just get into the episode. We'll talk about episode 1. Once again, this is a spoiler review. So if you've not seen it, you might want to turn us off and turn us back on when you've seen it, or if you don't mind,
or continue to watch.
or if you don't mind, right, exactly, having it spoiled. All right, let's get into this. Okay, so it starts off with the fight that we saw in the trailer, which looks like a very good fight, but actually seeing it now in this series, I mean, in the first 10 minutes,
They have
there's
the
big,
nerve to put Indara front and center on all the posters, like big. And then opening scene, she's dead.
yeah,
I'm like, apparently she was supposed to be like the leading Jedi, like Force 2 fighting and all that. And my gosh,
yeah,
she's out of commission in like the opening scene. Well, what do you mean, like greatest Jedi or a command? She doesn't have anybody to command. She's not there.
yeah. Poor Carrie-Anne Moss.
Gosh,
if you don't,
goodness.
if you don't know who Carrie-Anne Moss is, she is a legendary actor who was starred in a movie.
She was in The Matrix. Right?
She was in The Matrix, right? Came out in 1999, a groundbreaking film at that time. It was, she was wonderful in this film. So when we got the news of the casting and heard that Carrie-Anne Moss, well, at least me, because you maybe don't know much about Carrie-Anne, but when I heard that she was going to be in this series, I said, wow, I can definitely see her as a Jedi. And she's going to be one of those bad Jedis, right? Who's going to be very powerful. She's going to be intelligent. She is going to be looked at as a leader or a mentor. So I was really looking forward to seeing her play a major role in this series. And she was gone in 5 minutes. And yeah, and I was very disappointed. Okay. Now it's possible that we may see her in flashbacks, but it's not the same, right? Because we already know her fate. I wish we just would have had more time to just see this character, find out what type of Jedi she is, develop the character, maybe, you know, and it's not to say that she still can't be one of those legendary Jedi that we'll be talking about in 20, 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, even in those 5 minutes, she has a presence, yes. Okay? But again, I wish she would have stuck around a little bit longer. Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
But it was, let me know if you agree. It was a very good scene. I think the
nice.
The choreography
Indara
was very good.
Completely in control. Yeah. And then May hit her with a little bait and switch.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Like,
yeah.
Look away.
She found the Jedi weakness,
which is
right.
Almost like I looked it up. It's a pretty low chance of dying. Also, I've been counting how many daggers that May loses over this series just to show how ineffective it is. We're currently sitting at 15.
All right, you counting the first 4 episodes?
No, the first 2.
You saw her use 15 daggers?
Yes.
Wow.
15 daggers were destroyed. That doesn't mean she used 15.
Right, yeah.
That means she failed to retrieve.
That 15. Is a waste of weapons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why don't you just get like a big blade or a blaster or a lightsaber? Like anything is more practical than carrying 30 tiny knives in a pocket.
Yeah.
Like you're just asking for that pocket to rupture, or even worse, for you to get poked in the thigh while you're fighting somebody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about May. May is a character played by Amandla Stenberg.
Yes, May is a character. Please keep that in mind.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, I'm gonna try to be nice here. So May is actually a solid character so far. She failed to use the Force until like the end of the fight, but she was very competent. She seemed to know what she was doing, but she has no motive to kill this Jedi so far.
Well, as far as we know.
As far as we know right now,
yeah,
we're not sure why she's doing this, but it's something. Mm-hmm. And she seemed to have a little bit of emotion here, like when she was like staring at Indara, like like something about my planet. I don't even remember what she said.
Mhm. Well, okay.
It was good. She lost like 8 daggers in that fight.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot. Now, for what I understand, for what we understand watching the first 2 episodes, I mean, we're going to go through both episodes, but so she is the Acolyte, and she is tasked, she is working for this mysterious Sith character that her job is to kill a Jedi without using a weapon, which is very interesting. I don't know why. Because if you look at, the Sith, he carries a weapon. He has a lightsaber, but she's being put to the test, right? So she needs to, so this is a test that she has to pass. She has to destroy a Jedi without using a weapon. Now, this is something I actually forgot because I read this comic book series a long time ago, but I was just talking to our good buddy, your Uncle Chris Ryans from Boaxium, who reminded me that in a Darth Vader series, right? This was one that was written by Charles Soule back in 2017. In the first episode, so it takes place right after Revenge of the Sith. And this is when he is actually pulled out of Mustafar, and he gets the
lava lakes.
Yeah, gets on the armor and the helmet. The first assignment that Palpatine gives him is for him to find a Jedi and take their lightsaber so that he can take it and take the kyber crystals and bleed it red and create his own crimson lightsaber.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is also why May keeps grabbing at their lightsabers during each fight, which is strange because at the end of the fight with Indara, she does not seize the opportunity to take the lightsaber that was like 2 feet in front of her.
That's a good point.
I mean, you could have, and then even though you didn't earn that one legitimately in combat, you could take the ability and the chance to earn another one while you have the first one, and then have 2 or get rid of the weapon that you weren't supposed to have.
Well, maybe she felt
then you could just be like a dual wielder, or you could just get mechanical arms and attach them to your back like Doc Ock and General Grievous, have like 4 lightsabers.
Well, maybe the reason why she didn't pick it up is because she didn't earn it. Because she was supposed to kill Indara, well, supposedly.
She's friends with a smuggler. You think she cares about earning things?
Well, at first I think she does, right? So she's trying to, when she comes into the bar or the cantina, she is not using any weapons. She has in May, and she comes to the table and says to her, fight me with all your strength, right? So she didn't say anything about draw your weapon.
Attack me with all your strength. Like she does that.
Right.
Which is like a goofy fighting stance person. Like she has to sweep the table to bring her arm around and do this.
Yeah. So
it's like you could just throw a dagger.
She had intentions on not using a weapon, but things didn't work out as expected, and she had to. So in her mind, she probably failed the test. Yeah. So
if at first you don't succeed, do not bother trying again. Well, you will lose.
Well, okay. All right. So now let's move on to the next scene. Now we see Amandla Stenberg again.
Yeah, and Osha's like kind of discount Ahsoka.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that. I'll set it up for you. So we see this character, Amandla Stenberg, right? Well, honestly, we knew. I can't say we knew, but we eventually, I think Star Wars let out the fact that Amandla Stenberg was actually playing 2 roles, right? She was playing.
I hope she got paid twice for 2 roles.
Maybe she did.
Because,
right.
I'd want to be paid for 2 roles in such a show.
Yeah. So when the scene cut and she is waking up from a nightmare or whatever, I mean, you could tell from her demeanor that this is, she's very polite and she's calm and confident.
This ain't the same person.
Exactly. Can't be the same person that just committed a crime in the last scene. So I got the impression that this was probably her twin. So it turns out that she is
twin thing.
Right. So it turns out that
this is a Disney movie, isn't it?
She's playing Osha. All right. Now explain to me, like, you see a similarity between her character and Ahsoka, right?
All right.
So apparently she's a mechanic for as a
So
trade.
she is a mechanic, also known as a mechanic, because somebody thought that was cool, even though that just sounds like something you'd use to describe somebody in an unkind light. So she trained with the Jedi. She left the Jedi, became a mechanic, went outside of a ship in a spacesuit, and then rejoins the Jedi. Does that sound familiar to like anybody? Like, remember when Ahsoka left the Jedi and then trained with them beforehand and then left and became a mechanic? And then afterwards, she went outside of a ship in a spacesuit in her own show.
Yeah.
And she also kind of rejoined the Jedi.
Yeah, that's true, right.
During the end of the Clone Wars.
Forgot that part, yeah.
I understand the prospect of inspiration, but this is like not it. Oh, also a little bit of Luke in there. Like, she grew up on a planet with 2 planetary forces in the sky. Her parents got blown up by some sort of... They got cooked. And then a man who became like a friend to her, but also a master, was able to bring her off world with a bunch of other people. They kind of had a crew going,
I see what you're saying, right?
And he had a blue lightsaber, brown robes.
Okay.
The best part of the series.
All right. I understand what you're saying. I do see some similarities, especially with Ahsoka and Osha, but they did leave the Jedi under different circumstances, right?
Yes.
So we don't quite know exactly. I get the impression that Osha wasn't really cut out to be a Jedi. So maybe she wasn't very good at it, because we see in a later scene, she tries to use the Force and she's kind of like on Sabine's level. At the
incompetent, you mean?
Well, I didn't say she was incompetent, but just not strong in the Force,
unable to move a droid,
to move an object.
By the way, can I just speak on how useful this droid would have been? Imagine if Luke Skywalker had this thing in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Not only can this droid be used to weld and send transmissions, it can also be used as a voice box. It has flame retardant in it. It can also start fires, and it doubles as a camera. So you mean to tell me that this droid does all that 100 years in the past, and not a single person thought to develop this technology by the time of the original trilogy? Nay, even the prequels?
I get it.
Imagine if Qui-Gon just whipped this out and started spraying Darth Vader with I don't know, Darth Maul with the fire extinguishing fluid. And then kicked him down the reactor shaft. You know what?
You have a very good point. It does seem
lit him on fire.
That the technology that existed 100 years ago is more advanced than what's happening in the Phantom Menace. I get it, and I know there's they if they wanted to, they could have made something a little more primitive, but they wanted something that was gadgetry and that get people's attention. So I can understand.
R2-D2 can't do all that.
Well, no, I get it, Keith. I understand what you're saying, but they want to get people, audience's attention that this droid, this little thing, Pip, I think is what it's called, is very cool. All right, you got to admit it. It is cool. But yes, it is kind of advanced for something that happened 100 years before the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. So Charlie Barnett shows up. The same dude who said Anakin blew up the Death Star and killed millions of people.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Yord, he's at the door for an exposition dump with Osha.
Yeah, okay.
He's just in a normal conversation about, her being suspected for murder, and then he says, "Your sister killed your entire family in Coven of Witches 16 years ago." And I'm like,
okay, now did he say that? I don't recall him saying that.
I don't know. He said something of that effect.
Okay,
during that conversation in the first episode on the ship.
I don't know if he said it there because he
said it there.
Okay, maybe I'm confused because I don't think he knew that May had a twin. It was Master Soul who explained to him.
No, but twin, not a sister. It was a sister, not a twin.
Oh, okay. So he didn't know that she was a twin, but she had a sister.
I don't think she knew.
That's fine.
I don't think she knew that the other one was alive, and I don't think she told him.
So
Yord should not know that.
All right, we'll get to that. All right, so basically, they're identical twins. So of course, people are thinking, well, the witness that was at the bar who saw the assassin now thinks it's Osha is the one who committed the crime, who kill this Jedi Master, and she gets taken into custody, and she's put on a ship, heading to Coruscant with other prisoners, and there is no security on the ship. Of course, why should there be? So there's a breakout, right? And these criminals, escape by getting in a pod, and they just blast off into space. One pod left, obviously, and you think Osha would be the one to take that last pod, but she did something that something that a Jedi would do, right? She cared. Well, let me finish this. So she cared. She saw another prisoner who she thought needed help, so she went and helped this prisoner or released this prisoner. And what does he do? He just runs off. It gets in the pod and leaves her there.
Jedi killer.
Right. So he set her up. So now so no one is flying this ship. The pilots, who were, robots, turn into chairs, and so there's nobody in the chairs, and the ship is, free falling, and it crashes onto the snowy planet. What were you going to say?
So Yord's running it down for her. He says, you lost your entire family, your mothers, your sister, your village, all died in the fire before Master Soul brought you into the Jedi.
Right.
Your training was difficult, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. There was a lot of talking.
A lot of yapping.
A lot of
and not a lot of slashing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I thought there might have been a little too much information given without showing it, rather than tell it. But you see what they're doing in the first episode, the second episode, they keep bringing up her past. So at some point, I'm hoping that there will be some type of flashback as to what exactly happened.
Yeah. So anyway, good old Charlie just decides not to actually monitor her, but she goes on the ship, and as we said, the ship crashes. She ends up trying to do something nice for the guy in the cell next to her, and he just runs off, and Osha's left to crash, which is a very sad end to the character. And then, oh wait, she's alive. So Osha apparently hit the ground so hard that she hallucinated that her sister was there, and follows her, and then goes back to her home world where we see everything burning. We see May, she's like there, and Osha, she becomes her child self again. She's like, May, what happened? Is it really you? And May says, yeah, it's me. I'm here. I'm gonna kill them all. And then Osha comes back to reality. So did I mention that she strapped herself into a seat? The buckles are broken, and she has flown a good 5 feet away from that chair. She is completely fine. That's not going to affect her for any point in the rest of the show. She is doing well.
Okay.
It's not like that's dangerous.
It is. But she made it look easy.
Yes.
All right. So
yeah. She's alive, and the Jedi have been notified about the crash.
Right. So they go after her. She's stranded on this planet. They go after her. They know where to find her. They find her. Well, when they find her, she's running about. All right. And I don't remember if she was running after her sister or if she was just running because she heard someone coming after her. I don't know. But, we get to a point where she is now in this cave, and she's running this cave, and she gets to the end of the cave, and then there's this drop, right? And immediately I thought of The Fugitive. Okay, you and I have not seen The Fugitive. We have to see it together, but let me explain what this is if you have not seen The Fugitive. So she gets to the edge, have no place to go, but double back. But she can't because the Jedi are right there waiting for her. So it's Yord and the Padawan, Jackie, and then Master Soul are there to bring her in. And she says to the group, I didn't do it. And Master Soul says, I don't care.
Well, he said, I believe you.
Yeah, so, right. That was
nice one. Nice reference. But
right. That was from The Fugitive. Right. Oh, please.
He says, I believe you.
Yes, he says you don't believe
no
that he believes her?
Oh, get this. The reveal that Osha was in fact a separate character from her sister May was shown by subtitles within a teaser for the Acolyte released on May 18th, 2024. The spoiler subtitle was soon removed. However,
Oh.
pre-release interviews would also refer to Stenberg as playing both characters. So
Oh,
they
so
gave
somebody
themselves up
slipped
in
up.
a trailer subtitle.
I see. Wow, that's very interesting.
Wow.
Because that would have been an interesting.
Wow, good one, Disney.
That would have been an interesting plot twist to know that she had a twin. Okay, so now that's all established. She has a twin, and we're gonna need to find out about her. All right. So that was pretty much the first episode. So let me just stop and talk about the actors. All right. And I don't have my notes, of course, because Keith takes my notes.
I have them.
Yeah,
You
right.
can have
Okay.
them back.
All right. So I want to talk about the actors who are in this series, and I want to give a shout out to Lee Jung Jae. All right.
Yes,
so we
the
know,
best part of the show.
I think he is the MVP of this series so far.
He's not technically the main character, but he's the main character to me.
I'm not. I don't think that's true. I think he is the main character.
He's
like
main
he would
character,
be.
But like Osha's the main character.
Okay,
he's
you could say that.
Main side character, I guess. Like he's a main supporting character. Like he's a main character, but he's not the main character.
Okay. All right. Well, I get it. But anyway, regardless, he is the better character, the best character in this series, in my opinion. Because he really shows the true essence of a Jedi who is compassionate, who is intelligent, who is a leader.
He's like the Uncle Ben to this movie's Matt Webb.
He has the personality or the confidence of a Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah,
which is very cool.
A devoted Forcey or Force user.
Right, and look, if I was his Padawan, I would put all of my trust into Master Soul, because I think he is a person who is really.
He seems like a fun guy.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, he's very knowledgeable, and he looks out for his people.
He seems like the kind of person who would win you a trivia game.
Yeah. So, all right. So, again, Lee Jung Jae. All right. Now, let's talk about Amandla Stenberg. All right. I really enjoy her character, Osha. I think, she brings charm to that character, and, she's brilliant in the role. She's very interesting. As someone who you can't take your eyes off of her. You want to know what she's going to do next or what she's going to say next. Now, as far as her playing the dual role of May, the assassin, I don't think I've really been sold on her playing the villain, because she doesn't have that villain demeanor. She's not that type of. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that she can't play a villain, but I don't see it. She just seems to me more of the hero of a series rather than the villain. So maybe in the next few episodes I might warm up to May, but I really enjoy her playing Osha. Okay.
The name of that place is Lomi Uski Noodle Shop.
Is that where they
Indara died in the noodle shop.
Okay. All right. Charlie Barnett. Okay. Now you brought up that name, Charlie Barnett. Now, by the way, I don't know if anyone on the chat, it looks like we're not able to speak to anyone in the chat, get Q&R, but we apologize for the Q&A. All right. But if you let me know if you've seen Russian Doll.
Yeah, he's in Russian Doll, right?
Yes, he is in Russian Doll. And Russian Doll is an amazing series. There's only two seasons. I saw the first season, totally blew me away. Amazing. It was riveting, wonderful. Also written and directed by Leslye Headland, right? Starring Charlie Barnett. And Charlie, in his role in Russian Doll, he was fantastic. He was great. I loved his character, and I wanted to see where his character is going to go. It's a tragic character.
Please don't spoil it.
But him playing this role as Yord, Jedi Master Yord, seems a little stiff, in my opinion, and it seems to be not really a flesh and blood character, but more of a stereotype of this rigid and rough and tough by the book
spine,
by the book Jedi Knight, like similar to how Samuel Jackson played Mace Windu, which I am really not a fan of how Jackson played Mace Windu. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Mace Windu either. He just seemed
Yeah.
really annoying. Like in the
Yeah.
Clone Wars, he was better, but like
Yeah, I think he got better as the movies got along. Like in Revenge of the Sith, I think that was really when he was at his best.
he was only in 2 movies. Well, he was in Phantom Menace, but like I think
Well, Attack of the
he
Clones.
didn't.
Remember, he's at the end. You know, he was there on
Well, that's 2
Geonosis.
movies: Attack of the Clone and Revenge.
Who
of
are
the
we
Sith.
talking about?
Windu.
Windu was in 3 films.
Yeah, well, he was in the Phantom Menace, but in like a small role. He
Yeah,
didn't
well, okay, but he
affect
was
the plot. I mean, like affecting the plot. He had a major
okay.
or a bigger role in 2 out of the 3 prequels.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Yeah, I think he really got really good at it in Revenge of the Sith. So I'm just a little surprised, and I'm not saying that Barnett is a bad actor. I think this is how he was told to play this character. You know, I'm assuming it's the director who told him, well, you need to be this way. You need to be just one-sided person, and you know, and I'm not even sure if we're supposed to take him seriously because we're talking.
Like they don't seem to know what to do with him. Like he has these goofy scenes, like where he was sitting on her bed and he's like getting up, or when he was like pressing his shirt.
Right. Yeah.
But like other times he's just got a wooden spine. He's like sitting up straight, and he's like, why are we giving a stun gun to the prisoner? Like put her in chains or.
Yeah. No. He has ideas and they fall flat.
Stun bun.
Daphne Keene. All right. So if you remember her
Jackie,
from
X-23.
I like her character. She's underutilized so far, but I think they're going to give her more to do. But she reminds me of Ahsoka.
She's a Thelan because Leslye Headland likes that one Thelan lady from that one scene in Return of the Jedi.
No, I didn't know that. Was she the one in the
top tier writing?
Okay. I don't know what that has to do with the writing, but anyway. So, all right, Daphne Keene, very good actress. She's what I like about her is she's brave to challenge her own Jedi Master.
She keeps asking for permission to speak freely.
Well, but in episode 2, now I'm confusing myself. Is it 2? Yes, it's 2, where Yord has a plan to go in and investigate the character played by Manny Jacinto. Chimera, right? And he has a plan, and she says, or we can do something else, and they end up going with her plan.
Well,
so that was
not her master.
I thought he's not.
Soulless.
Well, okay, all right, that's a good point. But somehow, I guess what he's doing is, he as in. Yord is trying, I guess he has been promoted to a Jedi Knight recently. So I guess he's just
2
trying
years ago.
So I guess he's trying to pull rank on her. Like, okay, well, you're a Padawan, I'm a Knight. You do what I tell you type of thing without saying that. But she's like putting him in his place that you're not my master, like Master Soul is. Okay. Vanessa Terrell, played by Rebecca Henderson. All right.
Yes.
So this is something I did not know until this series came out, that Marillion, they live to be more than 100 years old.
Yeah.
Apparently. Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna try to be nice. Okay.
Well,
I don't want to be so mean to this show.
Yeah.
I want to like it. I'm gonna.
Well, okay, that's fine, Keith.
I'm trying.
Look, hey, we understand, not every show is going to be like a hit right out of the box, right? But I think it's growing on me. And I want to talk about episode 2. Okay, we're going to get to that very soon. So Rebecca Henderson, so she's playing a character that's very different than what we've read I haven't read all her books. But yeah, she's very serious. But you could probably understand that because she's lived a lot of years and she's seen a lot of her people die. Yes, exactly. So a lot of tragedy.
Sure everybody she cared about would have passed away.
Yeah, so I'm sure that has taken a toll on her. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I do feel bad for her though. Like I never thought about that. Like what about Imri? Like he's probably
I don't know.
No longer living.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I think those are all the major characters from episode 1. Right?
Yes.
I didn't miss anyone. Okay, let's get into episode 2.
Let me know. So let's.
Yeah, let me know if you have any questions or comments about episode 1. So we'll talk about episode 2.
I'll take over this one.
Yeah.
So you remember Torben? He's one of the 4 Jedi that May is gunning to kill. Well, guess what? May decides to go pay him a visit. But this man is so powerful, he literally puts up a force field. Without moving an inch, May is unable to land a single blow. This is the most one-sided fight scene in all of Star Wars. So eventually, she just decides it's not worth it. She is spotted by the intruder, and not the intruder, but she's spotted by the Jedi Master, who's also there, and she makes her escape. And she keeps saying, we have unfinished business, and attack me with all your strength. So that's notable.
Okay. So this was, I find this scene controversial. I think this is the one, of the 2 episodes, what the moment that is unsettling for me or bothers me the most is this.
Yeah, can I get to that later?
Get to what later?
This moment.
What moment were you talking about with Torben?
Yes, I'd
You
like
don't
to
wanna
talk
talk about
about
that
that
right
in
now?
context once we get to the later scene that makes this goofier.
All right, go ahead. I'm not sure
Yes.
where you're going, but go ahead.
All right, so we meet Chimere, who is
Mhm.
a con artist, a thief, a drinker, a smuggler, a dealer.
Right. Yeah,
He knows
he's
May's
all of the
mission.
above. Yes.
And she asks him for poison. He brews her some poison,
Mhm.
and her plan is to go get back to Torben. And then Torben says, "I've been waiting for you, May. We thought we were doing the right thing." Like he's whispering.
Okay, well, this is what I was going to talk about anyway.
And then he drinks.
Okay.
He drinks the poison completely willingly.
Yeah.
And one of the Jedi's like, "Why would Master Torben kill himself?" And we don't really get an answer to that. So, yeah. Also, Osha, she really quickly picks up on what this poison was. It's apparently a hunting poison that she and her sister used to use. You're up.
Okay.
I gotta stop.
Well, all right. So I was going to get to this point anyway. So what I want to say is, yes, what bothered me with this, storyline with Torben, is first of all, so he's on another planet. He's on a planet where there's a Jedi temple, right? Jedi temples all over.
Yeah.
Okay. So usually Jedi temples are heavily guarded. One would think. All right. So May just comes in, has a little girl distract the droid, answering the door, and she throws this detonator, and I think she just short circuits the door and able to open the door, and she walks into the temple and finds Master Torben, like you said, and she tries to fight him. He's got this force field around him. All right, so she says, "You know what? I'm going to come back for you tomorrow. You stay right there."
Yeah, which is like, I don't know why Torben wouldn't mobilize. Maybe he would like to get out of there, but no, he does not seem to be interested in preserving his own life.
Correct. Right. So now,
if he was uninterested in preserving his own life, why was he putting up a force field to stop May from taking his life? I guess he was waiting for her to use the right method or something.
Okay. So yes. So that's part of what I don't understand. Okay. So let's continue. So you're right. So she goes and sees her friend Chimere, this, smuggler.
Shady
who man. Right, he's very shady. It looks like he maybe stole an establishment from someone. I don't know, maybe bought it in a bet.
He seems to be a bit of a drinker.
Yeah, he's got
a critical drinker.
Yeah, he's got some vices. So he creates a poison. Now again, remember, she's supposed to be killing this Jedi without using a weapon, and she's failing miserably.
Yeah,
so she goes to her friend,
is classified as a weapon,
and she says, "I need you to make me a weapon. I need you to make me a poison." So he makes this poison. So she goes back. So not only did she break into the Jedi temple once, she did it again. So she goes back in, and she sits right in front of Torben, and puts the poison in front of him, and says, "Hey, remember me? I know what you did,
She's just like, hey, Torben, guess what?
Right.
You can either turn yourself in for your crimes, or you can seek the retribution you like.
Yeah. And,
right here, right now.
Right.
And Torben's like, we thought we were doing the right thing.
Right.
Go.
I just think that happened too quickly. That to me is not a natural way of things.
Yes.
I don't look. I hope I have never been in a position where I'm told like either you drink this poison or you turn yourself in. I don't know if I would choose the poison. So what I'm trying to figure out is what did he do that was so bad that he wouldn't even turn himself into the Jedi, that he chose death over, confession.
Like, what did he?
Very weird.
I'd also say, Torben, my friend, my fam, what?
Yes.
In what world was the plan to not? If you want retribution, you don't have to die. You can literally turn yourself in. Mm-hmm. That's how you get your penance, your ending. You don't have to die. What if you mean to tell me you sat here and waited 10 years for somebody to come give you poison on the off chance that they managed to find you? And on the off chance that they managed to find somebody who could make them poison, and on the even off chance that any normal person did not think he's probably not going to drink this poison himself. Also, does he eat, sleep, or drink? Like, does he just sit and float?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he's just in another world.
Does he get up, like, at all?
And as if he was waiting until May showed up. Like, he knew, like, eventually, I'll just sit here and just meditate until she shows up. It just seems very weird. Something was weird about that scene.
That is a thing you can do.
Right. Okay, so, all right. So that's what happened. So, again, that's one of the mysteries. We need to find out exactly what the Jedi did, because apparently it was very, very bad. What else we want to? Okay, so again, we saw, they try to question, you just sent tell. I can't remember.
Chimere.
Right.
Yeah.
And he really spills the beans, and tells her, well, she's looking to kill 4 Jedi.
Traitor.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's jump ahead towards the end where the Jedi actually find May. They got her trapped, right? Very cool scene when May and Soul are actually battling each other. It felt like something on a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
They're duking it out,
Right, yeah.
But it was a very cool fight, but just my question, one question. Did they not know how to just hold somebody down with the Force? Like,
I never thought of that. Right? You think with
you
they
just,
have
grab her
4 Jedi there
and just gently place her to the side,
right?
And then say, "I'm coming back for you. You stay here."
Yeah.
Or even better, just slap some cuffs on her and have your good buddy, Yord, just have him watch her.
Right.
Please. Anything's better than this.
Well, and I Soul is asking the same question that Indara asked in episode 1: Who trained you? Who trained you? Right?
Yeah.
So she's got skills.
Very resistant.
Right. So it seems to me, and this is my opinion, it has to be a Jedi who trained her, but we don't know that yet.
Yeah, or just got
but she manages to. Well, that's my point. That whoever this person is under the mask was a former Jedi. Has to be.
That's a nice theory.
A theory. I mean, well, who else could it be?
I don't know.
Okay.
Man.
All right.
I'm just trying to.
All right. So, all right. May attempts an escape. Osha finds her. May steals a vehicle.
And May's like, Oshi? And then, Osha fails to shoot at the sister who killed her entire family and a Jedi Master and tried to kill Soul and Yord. And she fails to shoot her with a stun bolt. Like, if anything, I'd be leaping at her. Like, you mean to tell me that this woman wiped out your whole family, killed the Jedi Master you cared about and just tried to kill 2 of your friends, and you don't have any sense of anger or willingness to take the shot. You don't even have to kill her. You can literally just stun her. And not only does she fire twice and miss, which I can understand because May is speeding away, but she also just May.
No, Keith. Now hold on. She didn't speed away until after the shot.
Exactly.
So she's in the vehicle.
She fires,
and they're
once.
looking at each other, and she fires, and she's way off target. So it was intentional. She was not looking to stun her sister.
So weak.
Okay.
I understand if this was like a lethal blaster, like if you didn't want to completely end your sister's life, that's completely normal. I don't know anybody who would like be willing to end somebody's life, but you can just stun her.
Yeah.
But boom, mind blown.
Okay. So which brings
I need to stop.
Which brings me to this point. Okay. Now, I think Yord may be onto something. And the reason why I say that is like I said, Yord is, the type of character, like he's by the book, he follows the rules. But at this point, no one is really listening to him. At the beginning of episode 2, Yord says to Sol, you think this is a good idea to have this civilian carry a weapon? Civilian meaning Osha. Or she's a prisoner. Why are we taking this prisoner with us on this investigation?
Very condescending.
Right. And then, Yord, admits that he didn't know that she had a twin, but now that he knows, how do we know that the two of them are not working together? Which that might be true. Maybe they are working together, and that would explain a few things. One, that would explain why Osha took that shot and missed her sister by a mile, because she wanted her sister to get away.
Yeah, so she's not incompetent. She's weaponizing her incompetence.
Right. If they're working together, that would make sense that she would let her sister get away because she doesn't want her sister to get caught. 2, when the Jedi went to the temple where Torben is located, Osha knew her way around that temple as if she's been there before. Because, she broke off with the group, right? And she found Torben faster than everybody else.
Yes.
So that, very interesting. Now, Yord was smart because he followed her and realized that she had nothing to do with his death.
So if it genuinely weren't for Yord being so suspicious, May would have got locked up.
Right.
She would have caught time.
Okay. Right. So that's suspicious that she knows her way around the temples, that she's been there before. 3, Osha thought her sister May was dead, right? But yet she knows what her sister's going to do before it's even done.
And not only that, May seems to think Osha is dead, even though
that I don't understand.
Sol like saving her sister.
Yeah, well, that I don't understand.
So maybe she's acting.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay, so in other words,
I quit.
So Osha says to Master Sol, well, she wants to kill 4 Jedi, and she knew exactly that it had to be 4 Jedi, and which of the 4 Jedi it was going to be. She said it was Indara, Torben, Kilnaka, the Chewbacca,
and you.
Kilnaka, the Wookiee, and him, Master Sol.
Yeah.
Why, if you think your sister is dead, why would you know that she's dead? Why would she be on a mission to kill Jedi?
Yeah, and I genuinely hope that this is intentional and not bad writing, because if that's intentional, that would be the biggest left field curveball we've seen since I Am Your Father in 80. Like,
it would be intriguing that if they are actually working together. And here's something. Look, this is a stretch, but anything's possible with twins, identical twins. Maybe they're switching roles. Like May could really be Osha, and Osha could really be May. We don't know. Yeah. But this is very intriguing.
That might not be true because I feel like the mothers would be able to tell them apart, and May does have like the branding.
Why? Yes, right. I guess there's some types of markings. Yeah, right. There was a scene where May had this conversation about this tattoo, that she got when she was in corporate security or something like that. So there's a way to identify Osha, but I think that is a setup. That tattoo is that we're gonna get her. She's gonna get caught creating a crime, and then they're gonna find out. They're gonna look at that tattoo and realize, oh, we thought this was May, but it's actually Osha. That's what I'm thinking. I think that's the reason why, I mean, it's a random thing to talk about a tattoo unless there's a setup that's something that's going to happen and it's going to pay off later. So I don't want to say anything further, but I think we covered episodes 1 and 2 okay.
I think we're done.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So tell me what you think or what you thought of.
Or don't. I'm kidding. Please tell us.
Tell us what you think of these first 2 episodes. Where do you think it's going? Do you like where it's going?
Let us know what you anticipate.
Yeah, is the Acolyte working for you or is it not? Tell us why. All right. So, and it's okay to say it's not for me, or I love this show, or I'm in between. I don't know.
You're allowed to say that you love this show. I won't be mad. Promise.
Right. Yeah. So, we'll have 3 and 4. We'll, if Keith doesn't give up on the show, we'll continue to review
I'm almost there.
The remaining episodes. Okay. I believe that is it. Oh, shout out to Michael Abels, the composer. Great music. All right. Reminds me a lot of John Williams. He works with Jordan Peele, did the music for Get Out and Us. So he's a great composer. So great choice. All right. If there's nothing else, Keith, where can people find us?
Okay, you can find us wherever you get your podcast, socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Boundless Galaxy, website boundlessgalaxy.com. Please check out our merch store, which is boundlessgalaxy.myfriendshop.com. Patreon page, patreon.com/boundlessgalaxy. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Help me.
Okay. All right. So very
Help
good.
Me.
So all right, we're off to,
a start.
It's a start, right? Maybe a little shaky for the 2 of us, but we'll see where this goes. All right. So until next time, everyone, take care, and we will see you again.